This is my 5 takeaways from The Richest Man in Babylon. First, we're going to summarize the book without telling you guys anything. The book follows a few strange people, going through Babylon and how they achieved wealth. We follow a former slave, a chariot maker, a camel picker, and we follow their stories on how they paid off their debt, built trust, became happier, and achieved personal wealth. Takeaway number 1 was save money. Just that simple. In this case, it was save 10% of what you were paid. By saving 10%, you reduce the needs that you had, you reduce the wants that you had, and you were able to, in this case, pay yourself first. In this book's case, it was 10%. I think that might be a little dated for me. I think that we need to save a little more than that. Maybe a lot more than that. Takeaway 2 builds off of takeaway 1. Pay yourself. Paying yourself isn't just the saving. It's the idea of the money that you saved as you giving money to yourself. When you buy items and when you buy things that you want, jewelry and other expenses, you are paying somebody else for something that you want instead of paying yourself with the money that you earned. Takeaway 3 was invest. Invest your money and don't trust non-professionals. In this case, Arcad gave his money to a bricklayer, and that bricklayer bought gems that ended up being crushed bits of glass. You got to trust bricklayers for bricklaying. You got to trust merchants for buying and selling, and you got to trust the money lender to know how to lend money. Trust professionals who work in that industry. For me, this comes down to owning what you know. When you own what you know, you can make better decisions on how that, stock in this case is doing. You know it. You know the industry. You own what you know. Or you have somebody who owns it for you and knows it. Trust professionals. Takeaway 4 was pay debt. Now, I do live debt-free, and I have forever. I have a weird crippling fear of debt. I do not take debt out. However, in this book, one takeaway that I got from it was pay debt. But not just to ease the burden, but to build credit, to build trust. When you pay down your debt, when people see you working hard to pay down that debt, you build trust, you build in what we would call nowadays credit. My last takeaway was consistency. See, as I realized in this book that a lot of these stories did come down to people doing it for a very long time. Save 10% of your money. Pay yourself every month. Invest for long periods of time in investments that you find profitable. Pay debt. Build credit. Build trust. It takes time. Be consistent. Consistency is what drives the story. It's being able to do it always. It's probably my most important takeaway. When I'm thinking about how I manage myself, the idea of being able to do it forever is what it's going to take to survive the longest, to be around forever. My finishing thoughts on The Richest Man in Babylon. If I told you that if you save your money, pay yourself, invest your money in professionals, pay your debt, build your credit and trust, and do it consistently throughout your entire life, that you will be successful. That's my 5 takeaways from this book. I think they might be broad, but a book written over 100 years ago could still be as equally important today as it was back then.